Hello, welcome back. I'm Nikki. Today I'm going to talk about intercultural problem solving, handling difficult situations the right way. Let's go. Here is what we will cover today. First, we will look at how culture influence behaviors. Then we will identify where intercultural conflict usually comes from. We'll also look at theories that help us understand misunderstandings, and we will also learn practical strategies for responding calmly and respectfully. And finally, we will learn how to create an environment where everyone feels included. Okay, let's look at what is intercultural problem solving. Intercultural problem solving means like bridging cultural gaps. When confusion or conflict happens, it is about understanding first, then interpreting, and then adapting. Instead of focusing on differences, we focus on finding shared solutions. The main goal is building respectful and inclusive interactions. Okay, now let's look at why intercultural skills matter. Intercultural skills matter because like our classrooms and workspace are becoming more global. People communicate differently, so misunderstanding happen very easily. When we know how to navigate these differences, we prevent small issues from turning into bigger conflicts. Good intercultural skills help us build trust, better teamwork, and overall productivity. Okay, one way to understand cultural conflict is to have the cultural dimensions. The first one is individualism versus collectivism. Some cultures are more individualistic, like for example, the US. People are encouraged to speak their mind, make their own decisions, and also focus on personal goals. But in collectives like culture, like Japan, people care more about group harmonies and avoid conflict. So, someone who is very direct may seem rude, while someone who is very polite may seem unclear. Okay, second one is power distant. In low power distant cultures like Denmark or New Zealand, people expect equality. Students can question teachers, and employees can challenge their boss. In high power distant cultures like India, people show respect to authority and wait for instruction. So, speaking too directly to a senior person might feel disrespectful in some cultures. The third one is uncertainty avoidance. Some cultures are comfortable with flexibility, like Singapore or the UK. They can work with unclear instructions or last minute changes. Others prefer stricter rules and also detailed planning, such as like Japan or Germany. This means like one group might want to figure it out as we go, while the other wants everything like clearly defined beforehand. These differences shape like how people behave, communicate, and solve problems, and misunderstanding them can easily lead to conflict. Okay, now let's look at Hall's context theory. According to Hall's context theory, that explained people communicate in different ways depending on their culture. In high context cultures, like they communicate indirectly and rely on tone, gestures, and shared understanding. Example, like in Japan, people may avoid like saying no directly to keep harmony. Okay, in low context cultures, like people communicate directly and say things clearly and openly. Example, in the US, like people expect straightforward answers. Why is mattered? Like if we don't notice these differences, like we can easily misunderstand someone's message. Like one person may seem too blunt, while the other may seem unclear. Okay, now let's look at what the same action can carry different meanings mean. This show like how the same actions can have different meanings depending on cultures. For example, like silence in Japan often means like respect or thinking, but in the US it can mean disagreement. Okay, turning to eye contact. Eye contact in Thailand like can seem disrespectful, but in Western cultures it shows confidence. And saying maybe in Asia often means polite No. Why in the West it usually means unsure and direct feedback like can seem as honesty in the Netherlands but too harsh in many Asian cultures. Like understanding these differences like help us avoid unnecessary conflict. Now let's look at a really simple four-step model we can use in any intercultural situation. Like step one is pause and notice. Like before reacting, just take a moment to observe what is happening. Like don't jump to conclusions, especially when cultural differences might be involved. Okay, second one is clarifying. Ask like gentle questions to understand what the other person really meant. Like something like, can you share what you meant? Or did I understand this correctly? Okay, the third one is adapt. Adjust like our tone, like our level or directness, or like even the speed of the conversation so it feels like more comfortable for both sides. And the last one is like agree on a shared approach. Like this means like talking together about to how we want to communicate like moving forward so everyone feels respect and clear. It is simple model but it really helps like reduce misunderstandings. Okay, let's explore practical strategies for handling difficult intercultural situations. In real situations, like there are a few practical things we can do to make intercultural communication smoother. The first one is to use clear and neutral language, like avoid slang or anything that can be misinterpreted. Okay, second one is explain our intention early. Let people know like what we are trying to say so they don't misunderstand our tone. And that one is ask questions before assuming anything. Okay, as simple like did I understand correctly can prevent a lot of confusion. And next one is practice cultural humility. Like stay curious, be open, and try not to judge differences too quickly. Okay, another one is like focus on the behavior, not the person. Like, talk about what happened, not what the kind of person someone is. Okay, last one is like create shared communication norms. Like basically agreeing as a team, like on how we want to communicate. Okay, these small habits like can make intercultural conversation much easier and more respectful. Okay, to conclude, intercultural problem solving isn't about eliminating differences. It is about handling them with empathy, respect, and a bit of flexibility. Like when we take time to understand each other, communication becomes smoother and working together becomes much easier. Thank you very much for your time.